Good morning everyone, it's Jeff Higgins from Higgins Storm Chasing. It's the 20th of the 2nd, 2015 at 6:30 a.m. I'd like to welcome the 22,000 new followers to our Facebook page, and also just show people to keep dotting posts, keep sharing and keep tagging. We have now reached 2.9 million people for the week, okay? Against Facebook's boost post attempts to get us to charge a ridiculous $50,000 a post to reach our followers. So keep dotting, sharing, tagging. It's very important that this information regarding severe tropical cyclone Marcia gets out there now. Let's have a look at Marcia and the entire east coast of Queensland. Here she is now as a Category 5 system, heading straight for the region of Yeppoon and then on to Rockhampton, and Gladstone could feel the severe effects. Down further we have the trough system affecting areas from Gympie south to Coffs Harbour with heavy rain, squally winds. Cyclone is forecast to track overland over southeast Queensland and out through northeast New South Wales in the next 24 to 36 hours. Move on and show you the satellite imagery. Work with me, I'm doing these live, so I'm sliding my box around, my video box. There's an image from NOAA for the past 12 hours showing severe tropical cyclone Marcia, who has now turned due south. Okay, she was initially forecast to track southwest, but because of the sheer size of the system, they tend to move towards the pole, which is south. It may track all the way down along the coast here yet. We just don't quite know. That's why the warnings are extended. Very impressive, isn't she? You can tell she's a severe Category 5 system just by looking at that infrared imagery. Very clear and well-defined eye formation. Note that it's starting to wobble as it starts to interact with nearby land and reefs. Okay, she wobbles around, but in general she's tracking toward the south and only hours away from impact. We'll move on now and quickly go through the Bureau of Meteorology warnings. This one here is issued at 6 a.m. Severe Category 5 Cyclone Marcia is forecast to impact the coast between St Lawrence and Yeppoon. That's Shoalwater or something up there, the big Australian, is it Army base or something? And then forecast to track inland as a Category 5 for a start, then for 3 near Rockhampton and Yeppoon. That is a severe cyclone Category 3 to affect the area around Rockhampton and Yeppoon. These people need to be on high cyclone alert. Your final preparations need to be carried out now. I've just contacted my mum at Gladstone and told her to tape all of her windows on the southern side, eastern side and northern side. We spoke about moving furniture away from those windows facing east in case the windows blow in and destroy her contents. It is a very serious situation. If the cyclone tracks down along the coast, it can maintain a higher intensity, and I'll be calling her again to tell her to seek shelter in her bathroom. She's got quite a strong, newish sort of house at Gladstone. Let's scroll down to the hazards. Very destructive core of tropical cyclone Marcia with wind gusts to 295 kilometres an hour is expected to cross between St Lawrence and Hervey Bay later today, in the next few hours, before 9 a.m. Destructive winds are expected further across coastal and island communities between St Lawrence and Gladstone. Destructive winds to Gladstone this morning. inland across the Capricornian and Burnett districts later today. Gales are occurring about some coastal and island communities about Serena to Double Island Point and are expected to extend inland to Mara, Biloela, Monto, Mundubbera. Abnormally high tides. The high tide is this morning, coinciding with the crossing of Marcia. The high tide is expected, very high tide in fact, and above the normal highest tides of the year, expected around about 9 to 10 to 11 o'clock down the east coast of Queensland, with inundation of low-lying areas. This does go and this does extend down into Brisbane. I'll get to our southeast Queensland core followers in a minute. Serena to Double Island Point are specifically warned of dangerous tide. We just spoke about that with inundation. You need to take measures to protect the property now. Sandbags, evacuations. Speaking of evacuations, I'll flick over quickly to Queensland Emergency Management and I'll show you where current warnings, alerts and emergency alerts are located. We currently have them for Isaac residents, Gladstone residents, Oakmore and Marlborough. Okay, those sort of alerts are inundation of low-lying areas or evacuations of towns where the cyclone is expected to impact the greatest. And obviously the storm surge causes inundation of areas. So Emergency Management Queensland get together and they put these maps through very, very quickly, the estimated maps. Then they put out the emergency alerts to tell people to evacuate to high ground, move, so forth and so on. Okay, I'm going to flick over now to the severe weather warning, which covers further down into Queensland. Severe weather warning for damaging winds, heavy rainfall, abnormal high tides and dangerous surf. This is for southeast Queensland, southeast coast, parts of the Wide Bay, Burnett, Darling Downs and Granite Belt districts. Severe category cyclone Marcia is expected to make landfall. The trough, which is over us now, should produce heavy rain and locally damaging winds about the Wide Bay, southeast coast districts this morning, extending inland to eastern parts of Darling Downs and Granite Belt. Heavy rain, flash flooding, some 24-hour totals in excess of 300. We could be looking at 500 mil, maybe higher, with this XTC Marcia coming down on top of this trough. I'll show you track maps, some more track maps shortly. Damaging wind gusts may reach 90. Water levels again, high tide likely to see the highest tides of the year. Dangerous surf conditions, riverine flooding. A flood watch is current. Wide Bay, Burnett, Southeast Coast, Darling Downs, Granite Belt districts. Locations, Toowoomba, Warwick, Gold Coast, Lockyer Valley, Ipswich, Brisbane, Caboolture, Sunshine Coast, Kingaroy and Gympie. Further up from Gympie, we have the cyclone warning and watch. This is a severe weather warning to cover everything south of and inland of. Show you a track map. Latest track cycle guidance initialised from NCAR, showing you the model tracks. We are running 4 at the moment. So you can see a majority of models have the crossing there between Yeppoon and St Lawrence and tracking inland for the next 24 hours before turning further to the southeast, tracking over either the Darling Downs, Toowoomba, Warwick, or straight over the top of Brisbane or up towards the Sunshine Coast. Either way, all of these areas in southeast Queensland are expected to get buffeted from XTC Marcia. In fact, she maintains a cyclonic status well inland, possibly as far down as about halfway before she exits out around the Kingaroy-Mergen district. Radar, our cat, is attacking the leg of the table. If you can wonder what that sound is. He's a little deviant. Okay, so that was that. Now let me just go back. We showed you that, we showed you that, we showed you that. Let's run through the model. High resolution GFS model. Give me 2 seconds to flick over to GFS high res modeling. There There we go. 7 a.m. this morning. You can see these are the 925 very low level winds. Remember, this is computer model generated forecast, so it's quite good. It's picking up the crossing between Yeppoon and St Lawrence. On what is on everyone's mind is where is this going to go and how strong. We've had many people say Toowoomba Cat 1 due to other weather pages and other sources, newspapers and that sort of thing, throwing out all of these scenarios onto the public. I won't buckle, I won't crumble to what I stick to. I'm not going to follow them. I don't even look at other stuff. All right? I just look at what analysis I produce and then I give it to you. So I don't care what others say. All I care about is what Department of Emergency Management, Queensland Alert, QPS, Emergency Services and the BOM are saying right now about the cyclone. From then on, we'll go and have a look at our modelling. Okay, so at 1 p.m. this afternoon, Friday afternoon, Tropical Cyclone Marcia is expected to extend inland and lie between Blackwater and Rockhampton, and still as a Category 2 system possibly. You can see the strong rotating winds around the cyclone even after she crosses the coast. Remember, she is in a weakening trend. These cyclones are very heavily dependent on warm ocean water to maintain high category status. They are drawing off the ocean. That's their feed. That's their energy source. As soon as they hit land, dry air starts to interact and they weaken quickly. Doesn't mean that they're not dangerous, they're not strong and they can't track down over land a long way. We saw it with XTC Oswald that tracked all the way over land from the Gulf, producing 1,000 millimetres of rain. Doesn't have to sit off here and be a cyclone to produce very severe weather and very severe flooding. It can be over land here because it's still drawing in moisture anyway off the ocean from the northeast. Its strongest feed is coming off the ocean. 1 p.m. Friday. 4 p.m. on Friday, she is continuing to track down towards the southeast. Anywhere along the coast would be getting strong winds and heavy rainfall. Anywhere south of the low, strong, damaging, possibly destructive winds around the cyclone as she weakens and tracks out over land. By 10 p.m. Friday night, the cyclone is moving into southeast Queensland districts and in a weakening trend. However, still a strong system, still a strong low, still a strong XTC. I will pull up some 850 winds. We'll switch over now to the Brisbane mapping and that way we can get a close-in look. 10 p.m. Friday night, northwest of Mundubbera, tracking in a south to southeast direction. 4 a.m. Saturday morning. Remember, I'm just working with these live. XTC Marcia is heading towards Dalby, the Darling Downs and Granite Belt, just along west of the ranges. So anywhere to the east and south of this system, you can see the winds are very strong, to 50 knots, 100 k's an hour. We could see wind gusts 100, 150 k's an hour in elevated terrain anywhere over the inland parts of southeast Queensland. And along the coast, we'll be getting those damaging wind gusts as the system draws in off the ocean. I'll slow the tracks down now to 10 a.m. Saturday morning. And you can see that the system is still active around Dalby, cranking in this tilt circulation over southeast Queensland and really ripping the winds in on the southern side. Elevated terrain, a high risk of damaging winds here. 4 p.m. Saturday afternoon, she tracks down into northeast New South Wales as an elongated low pressure system because she's starting to cop the full effects of land by this stage. Still very strong winds over northeast New South Wales as the low tracks directly over Lismore. 10 p.m. on Saturday, XTC Marcia then goes back out over water and yes, is forecast to gain some strength. However, she is moving away from the coast. The damage will be done by then, or northeast New South Wales will be getting hammered Saturday night into Sunday morning. There's Sunday morning, you can see it's intensifying again over water. But remember, the water down here is a lot cooler, so the intensification is less. It becomes a subtropical system. Right, let's go on, and I'll quickly bring up, which I haven't even looked at myself, is the rainfall conditions, rainfall forecasts from the BOM, total rainfall forecast. So you can see there, totals anywhere up to 200 millimetres through central parts of Queensland, extending down the coast and inland 100. The southeast Queensland totals are up to 300, possibly 400 the next 24 to 48 hours. I will zoom in and do day by day. Today, the heaviest rainfall is expected anywhere from about St Lawrence all the way down the coast into northeast New South Wales, with falls in the close proximity of the cyclone up to 300 millimetres. Tracking down the coast, we've got the trough in place further down, falls there of up to 150 millimetres, possibly 200 in northeast New South Wales over the next 24 hours. Friday to early Saturday morning. Saturday, the system is tracking, as I showed you on the previous map, down here like that. Heavy rain is drugging off the ocean. That's why the totals are the highest to the eastern side of the low and southern side. You can see where they are from Bundaberg south into northeast New South Wales. Totals there 100 on this model. So 400 mil, 500 mil is definitely possible, possibly higher local falls. On Saturday, on Sunday, the system moves out offshore from northeast New South Wales. Yes, my lack of sleep headache is starting to kick in. Many of the admins stayed up all night last night. Those who didn't fell asleep with phones and laptops hitting their foreheads like I did. Laptop on my lap, phone smacked me in the face, and I was out to it at about 2 a.m. Thank you to Thomas and Tony for staying up around the clock, providing updates. Amazing, incredible community service. Thank you guys. The HSC app, I've added an emergency alert tab that will take you straight across to the disaster management sites and emergency alerts. It also has the Queensland Fire and Emergency Service homepage where you find further emergency alerts on the HSC app. Has multiple radar and lightning views, rain forecast, your forecast, our HSC forecast, and our HSC cyclone outlook forecast. I have to update those, and this video will go into them. Push notifications have been being sent out about severe weather warnings, the tropical cyclone warning, flood watches. All of those have been getting sent out to everybody so that everybody gets them, but they can share them onto their family and friends. The app is available through Android and Apple. We've had really good feedback on that, so thank you guys for your support. This app is fully developed, or it's controlled by me, so I personally send the notifications. I type them manually. It's not automated. All of this stuff in here is automated except for our forecasts. This app, I can add and change anything at any time. It's always being upgraded. Okay, it has our stuff and external links. The bomb warnings are there. Click, click, bang, you're into the warnings. Yes, we know this content is freely available on the internet. However, how awesome is it to have it available on a location like that where you can do 2 clicks, bang, you know exactly what's being warned in Queensland or anywhere in Australia. And then our forecasts go up to there. There's also another page with our HSC YouTube, Facebook links. There's weather education. There's all sorts of stuff over here. Just scroll across. All right. I'll quickly come back to the radar and I will zoom in to the cyclone. Severe tropical cyclone Marcia is now just hours away or minutes away from impacting the central Queensland coast. All right. Wind gusts to 295 kilometres an hour are expected close to the low centre, with destructive winds extending out about 100 kilometres from the centre and damaging wind gusts extending out beyond that. Anywhere down here from Yeppoon, Emu Park, Rockhampton, Rundle Island, Mount Morgan, Gladstone, Tannum Sands will get buffeted by this cyclone as it tracks south, and on current projection will go straight over the top of Rockhampton. Please prepare now. There is next to no time left for people south of this system to prepare for what may occur over the next few hours. What may occur is destructive winds which can damage everything from houses to infrastructure. You might be watching this video now at Yeppoon or Rockhampton or Emu Park, and in a few hours you'll have no power, no phone, no water, no services. These systems have the capabilities of doing that. I'm not saying it will. You need to prepare for that, to be just left with no communications and a roaring freight train outside of your house called Marcia. If it's not too late, doesn't look like it's too late, if you live very locally to a shop or something, or you have some kind of access to a radio, a battery operated radio, anywhere down the coast of Queensland, get your hands on it. Ring family and friends, ring elderly neighbours, and consider your pets. Get animals inside. Put them in the laundry. Who cares if they pee and poo in the laundry? Get them in. They're our loved pets. They deserve the respect and shelter as we do. All right, that's enough from me. We'll go and continue to crank the warnings up. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, everybody, and let's pray that this system does not cause loss of life and that everyone is safe. Thank you.